Hello, friends. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Fort Worth Roots. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by GW District. 110 Black-owned businesses are listing their merchandise here. You got to give it a shot. You got to check it out. Either go to shopgwdistrict.com or go to your app store and look up GW District. This is a very important episode to me because we have a return guest. Anytime somebody comes back, it means they found value in it. It means they enjoyed being here. They feel like it added value to their system. So not only did Leon Daniels, the owner of GW District, come back to the show, but this time he brought the other 90% of his operation along with him, Amiah, his wife. So this is a big moment for me. But also, you listening to this show today or any day, episode 25, every time you come back, or maybe this is your first time listening, you are adding value to the show too. Every single time one person listens to this show, it pops up on the analytics. Whatever country you're in, whatever state you're in, sometimes it can narrow it down to the city, but it shows up on the analytics. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to the show. And at the end of this episode, finally, we had somebody send in a MP3 format voicemail. It's not what I was expecting. And if you have children, you should not let them listen to this because it's me talking to a friend via voicemail about the podcast and trying to bounce ideas off of them. I'm not a polite person. I mean, I say things in private that would make most people blush. So anyway, that's going to be included at the end of the episode. If you want to hear it, cool. If not, if you got kids in the car, just turn it off after the meat of the conversation. Thank y'all for being here. Let's start the show. I would like to be the guy that came up with that idea, but you've got Steve-O from Wild Boys, Jackass.
Yeah.
He went and got himself a van and tried it out, and it was too small. So then he took his equipment, he put it in something bigger, and now he's out there doing exactly what I was talking about doing. Because like you, I thought, yeah, man, that'd be great. That's somebody from the hotels come to turn the music down for us. Thanks, man. You gotta love those guest
man, you got juice.
Huh?
You got some juice now.
What do you mean?
You got the guy coming, turn it off, sir. Do you need me to turn down the music?
Sometimes all you gotta do is ask. All you gotta do is ask.
VIP.
So like I got to where these hotels, I would just call up the desk and be like, hey, I want to use your conference room, and they'd be like,
okay.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Sure.
And be like, all right.
I've got to get the angle right for the coffee.
You just pull that mic right out of the way.
Oh.
Just like that. And
Actually,
you just kind of go ghost mode for a minute.
Kind of like, okay. Ooh. Okay. Let's see.
Should I be facing this way?
You do whatever is comfortable with you.
I'm like,
so
well, it's best to pretend like that thing doesn't exist.
okay,
yeah,
let me look this way then.
Kind of, yeah. And I mean, if y'all don't like this setup, man, I just kind of did it where I thought.
I feel like it's fine, and it's got
fine.
It's got the cars and stuff going by.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
See, this is why we need that mobile podcast studio, though, is so that I got the same setup every time. Because like right now, we're still kind of trying to get comfortable and figure out where to.
You want to be able to face. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm talking to you and you're over there.
And that's exactly why I didn't sit in the middle, because I didn't want to be like, Amiah, Leon, Amiah. So.
That's okay.
But it is cool that we can move our heads now and not worry about where the mic's at.
All right.
Okay, what you got?
No, I was just thinking, just like in the future.
What you got to share with us, though? It's a podcast.
It doesn't work that way in my brain. I was telling
the wheels are always turning.
Yeah, I told my parents, I was like, it's like I have these ideas, but I can't fully communicate them or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't care what Steve-O's doing. I think you should do it. Back to that. I think you should do it. I don't care.
No, and I'm with you. And nothing like that's going to stop me from doing it. I don't want to sit here and tell you that I came up with the most original, awesome idea ever.
Well,
because that's a lie.
So yesterday we were watching Christmas Vacation. Right? Familiar with that movie?
Yep.
I think that mobile home, that cousin, what's the cousin's name? I forget his name.
I do too.
But that type of mobile home would crack me up. And I told my dad, I said he should have that type of mobile home, but on the inside it's just completely decked out.
Yeah. No, seriously. And I think maybe because you mentioned that a while back, I've kind of turned my sights on something like that, like an all-in-one RV.
Yeah.
Kind of old school, so I can save $1 or $2.
Yep.
And then just worry about the inside.
Build it out. I even thought of a concept of a bar last night.
Bar would be so sweet.
Yeah.
Would that get you to come?
That would get me.
There's a little bar. You have a little bartender. He ad-libs every now and then. Throws in his 2 cents.
Yeah.
Right? He's just over there or whatever. He's passing drinks out. And then he just kind of throws in, those weird, quirky, and then he goes back to like cleaning the.
Yeah, it's going to clean that glass out. I don't know why I immediately thought of like The Shining.
Oh, no.
The guy from The Shining.
Totally
I can't get through that movie.
Did you watch Dr. Sleep? It's kind of the not the prequel, the sequel.
No.
It's good. It's really good. It's like 3 hours long.
The Shining messed me up.
Really?
Because
you can't watch certain kind of movies.
The thing about the Shining was I had already had, before I even saw that, I already had crazy dreams like that. And so to see the movie, I was like, oh, man, this is like that one nightmare I had back. I was like,
Did you think you had the Shannon?
I don't know. I can't do it.
Listen, if we watch any type of scary movies, this guy has to watch a comedy after.
Just to kind of calm him down.
And make sure all the lights are on.
I got to, man.
Oh, and
I'm glad you brought Amiah with you, because now we're getting the real dark secrets.
I don't like the spirits.
He can't, and also he can't have any openings. Like he has to be, like his back has to be against a wall.
Okay, that's an all of us thing, I think.
But
that's from having instructors tell you that there are bad people in the world that are going to try to take your gun away from you and chop your head off.
Yeah. Straight up.
At a young age. Like, you better be on top of your shit, because people are going to try to kill you.
I mean, that's just...
Because I do the same thing. I like to have my back next to a wall.
And if I have to sit with my back to, let's say, like the door or the window, it's okay. Just know that my level of anxiety is 3 notches
for
raised.
Sure. Like
all
he can
times.
handle it. Yeah, I get it.
I might yell at the waitress. I might...
Yeah.
If something falls over, I might be like, you know. But other than that,
I feel like I've gotten a lot better. The first deployment back in 2005, when I came back from that, man, I was at a 10 for like the next 3 years. But like the further I get away from that, the easier I am to like deal with, I feel like.
Yeah, because I mean, you're out there all in the corporate world now, kind of washing off some of that vet on you.
Honestly, I feel more exposed working with civilians now than if I was deployed with a bunch of soldiers.
Yeah.
I really do. Like, you just don't know what to expect out of these guys.
Yeah, they're kind of
unpredictable.
But it's like,
seriously,
I tell my kids and everything, just expect the worst especially when you don't know people, you don't know what they're capable of or whatever. Just think of. And this is sad. This is going to be, I think, the worst imaginable thing. And then I back plan from there of how I would address it.
I saw Amiah take a big, deep sigh.
Yes, because I'm the complete opposite. He thinks of all the negatives first.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it balances us out.
Right.
I'm more positive. He thinks of.
No. Because I'm like, okay, that crackhead over there,
Well,
he's
okay.
doing,
it depends on the situation.
For sure.
I will say that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. But see, like that, did you catch the news on that bombing?
Jesus, man,
yeah.
Saw that last night.
Very, very. Did you read the backstory?
So for those of you that haven't checked out the news around Christmas, was it Christmas Day this happened with the RV in Nashville?
Yeah, early in the morning.
So in Nashville, there was an RV. I guess it was a mostly empty street.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like there was a lot of people that got hurt.
Right.
But it it destroyed like 26 buildings or something?
That's crazy.
Or damaged 26 buildings.
It damaged like 26 buildings, but I guess for me it was more of behind it with the message that played for 15 minutes telling everyone to evacuate. Did you catch that part?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's
I
great.
wasn't watching it live. I was watching the kind of later on.
So I click on the article and it says that for 15 minutes, a loudspeaker said, "This RV is going to detonate, evacuate the area."
What the shit?
For 15 minutes,
crazy.
it said, "Please leave the area. This thing is going to blow up." And so I was like, okay, so that's a very intentional,
Oh my God.
we're not trying to hurt anybody, but this thing is going to blow up. You need to move yourself out of the area. And so then it blew up. There's video of it and audio of it. And this thing blew up. And what was more curious to me was where it blew up, the communications, infrastructure. And so.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it blew up at some sort of communications building that downed emergency services, like the network.
Oh, Jesus.
Like 911, all those went down, internet, phone. I thought AT&T made a statement on it. And then because of all that, they grounded all the flights going out of Nashville for that reason. So for me, it's like, okay, you knew where you placed the bomb. You purposely told people that it was going to explode. And then there was reports of gunfire earlier before the thing went off.
Right.
And so that's why the FBI has taken the lead in that. And, I mean, to me, that's like a clear-cut case, I told her, of domestic terrorism because, international terrorists don't care. They're not going to warn you. They're just going to blow it up.
Right.
So I just thought that was so.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's on Christmas
crazy.
where everybody's kind of not paying attention.
Yeah.
Everybody's focused on. Nobody's watching the news.
Well, for something like that, something that magnitude, it was actually pretty quiet.
It was.
Our politicians aren't struggling to take control of the story to use it to motivate an agenda one way or the other, which is kind of non-typical.
Yeah.
Usually anything like that happens and somebody has to pick up a flag and run with it.
Never waste a good crisis, is what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
weird.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then you could probably, when you go back, you could probably snippet that in, that audio or that video.
I probably could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah.
I should do stuff like that. I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you with your podcast that you just set up.
Yeah.
You've in your videos and your Instagram, all the videos y'all do have like really clean, perfectly placed music. Where are you getting that? How are you doing that? I knew you were responsible for it. It felt like an Amiah thing.
I have a couple secret apps.
Okay.
I want to give out all my goodies.
Okay,
but
don't tell me.
Once you turn it off and stop recording, she'll be like, okay, you need to download this.
Yes.
Okay.
So I love that you can insert the music because I haven't seen anything like it.
Yeah.
I wanted to do something that was really engaging,
Yeah.
with like music and pictures. Because usually when I'm on Instagram, I see stuff and I kind of just scroll past it. But if it has something that's engaging, I stop and look. And I'm like, oh, okay. This is what they're doing.
I'm very impressed with y'all's social media stuff. And Leon is always getting on to me about how I need to step up my game. But now I know the real secret.
Yeah.
I need Amiah to just take over my social media for me.
She handles, she is our chief marketing person, strategist and everything.
It's looking great.
Thank you.
Now, the podcast I did. Mm-hmm. So, but I took my inspiration from
Me.
We talked about Guy Raz. So I take that. If you go listen to How I Built This Podcast with Guy Raz, and then you go back and listen to mine, you can kind of see what I'm trying to do there with as far as structure, the music, the mood in the music.
I picked up on that instantly.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Because you've brought him up so many times in our conversations that I kind of was already prepared for it. And then as soon as you started talking, as soon as I opened up the podcast, I'm like, yep, he's doing it. It's Guy Raz.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's good. It works. And if that's the style that you're comfortable with,
it is, because I'm really just trying to see. You have these open formats, and I love these, but for what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to tell the story. And
Right.
so my mom's like, it's a narrative.
Yeah.
You know? So you're trying to tell the story so that the consumer can get the backstory of why this person went into business or whatnot.
Right.
So it's less about me and more about propping up the sellers on GW District.
For sure.
So however I can piece it, and I felt like that type of podcast structure was better, more of a documentary.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
And I see the direction you're going with that. Now, you mentioned that you and the buddies have a different, like, kind of idea for a podcast, but what you're doing right now with your podcast, I think I think that's perfect. And I think you're right to use the format you're using, and you're not making it about you, and it's not even really about GW District. It's about your clients.
Yep.
So I think that's perfect.
Yep. The seller's journey.
It sounds great.
Yeah. So that's kind of the premise behind it, and I like it. And I like these open formats, but I don't know if I'm built for that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you know, there's so many different styles, and there's going to be more styles that come out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do it however you want, and that's the really cool thing about the entire podcast environment.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want. No rules. Wild West.
What do you where do you see podcasting in 5 to 10 years?
Well, I'm really concerned because they keep trying to kind of skirt these bills by that are kind of chopping away at freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
And it really makes me nervous.
Oh, yeah.
And I
agree.
To hell with podcasting. That's not what I'm worried being affected by freedom of speech. The way this, you know, everything that we enjoy about being an American is pretty heavily based on freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You take that away, and I mean that's the one thing you could take away the guns, and it would be bad, and I would not like that.
Yeah.
But if you took away freedom of speech, this isn't America anymore.
Right.
And so, I mean, with podcasting in consideration, I don't even know if I'd want to do it, because you'd have to, and it's not like they're going to just overnight be like, all right, you can't say these things, or you can't do, they're not going to put out a list of things you can't say. They're just going to keep slowly hacking away at it. And the most recent thing I saw was that inside this bill that they're trying to pass to give everybody that whopping $600 to make up for the last 6 months of economic downturn imposed by the federal government. Anyway, that bill is one of the things they have wrapped up in it, apparently, and I didn't do my research on this, but I saw a thing, and it said that they're trying to make certain types of graphic memes illegal. Like things that you're allowed to say.
For that one meme I posted, I can't remember what it was, but anyways, it'll say something will pop up on and said this
fact
is
check.
Yeah.
Well, and
that's like the beginning of it.
That's a whole nother conversation because Facebook, Instagram, whatever, YouTube, that's their thing. It's a business. It's an institution. Now,
but even still, it's
right. I
it's
get
a
it.
joke.
Yeah.
You know,
and I agree with you 100%.
And I don't need to get I know the fact.
Yeah,
it's funny. Laugh.
I mean,
but if they, on a federal level, if they change the way that we're allowed to use the noises that come out of our mouth, or the print that we put down on different formats, if it happens on a federal level, then there's no turning back. Yeah. Facebook is Facebook, YouTube is YouTube, but
it makes it hard to be authentic. Right?
Yeah,
I think.
Can't speak.
So 5 years from now might get real tricky, man. I don't know.
I think, and I hear what you're saying, but I think there's got to be some kind of balance, because you have serious rhetoric that comes out of some of these, social media realms that can be damaging to the entire population. So like, you don't want to limit freedom of speech, but like at the same time, how do you make sure that a group of crazy men aren't getting together in a Facebook group and pushing out fake, all kinds of fake, and I'm talking about false rhetoric on both sides,
right? That
incites. And I've seen it with this election. I mean, this group is sheeple, this group is calling these group sheeple, and it's just like, what is the truth at this point? And if you're believing this truth, does that incite you to want to cause harm to people, regardless of what side you're on? And so with people doing things like that, it just gets censorship. You know, it gives them license to go crazy on censorship. You know, it's like, is it Alex Jones?
Yeah, that's one of them.
You know, personally, I could listen to Alex Jones and just crack up, and you know what I mean. But there are people who will listen to Alex Jones and be like,
they're offended.
100%
literally
truth in all of this, and they'll just that seed gets planted in their head, and then it can't be unplanted.
The problem is people don't realize how easily pushed around or swayed they can be, how easy it is to take someone and put an idea in their head and have them believe that it's their idea.
Yeah.
So two things. I think that Facebook had a really good idea with the fact checking. Okay. Yeah. We're not going to remove it, but we are going to put this thing on here that says, oh, by the way, this is bullshit. The problem is that it's so nauseatingly left leaning that now when people see it, it's a joke. It's like, all right, whatever. Let me see the image, move on. Oh, fact check, whatever. Yeah. I think that was the right way to start handling this stuff.
Yeah.
Let it be there, but flag it like, hey, this is bullshit. Okay. Yeah. But the way that they went about it, the way that and it's got to be a monster of a task. So I'm here I am sitting in a chair, armchair quarterback, and trying to talk shit on it. But so it's got to be a monstrous task. But there's got to be a better way to clean that up. And then the second thing I wanted to point out or bring up a really good example of what you're talking about with people not realizing that they're being kind of manipulated or whatever. There's two people that I won't bring up their names, but if they listen to this, they're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. This happened yesterday. Somebody put up a picture of Melania, and it was just a picture, and it said "Merry Christmas," and I liked it, and then I said something like, we've had a lot of really beautiful first ladies, and this woman, she takes the gold. She's gorgeous, and it's a shame that she hasn't gotten the respect that she deserves during this presidency. Mm-hmm. And then somebody jumped on that comment thread and immediately said, yeah, well, she's way better than Michael Obama.
Oh, yeah.
And I just lost my loving mind. I said,
yeah.
Do you realize that the same animosity that people feel towards Melania for no fault of her own, just because she is the first lady of a guy.
You're propelled into that position.
Now you're attacking Michelle in the exact same manner because you don't like Obama.
Yeah.
You are the asshole. Oh, yeah, I support her, but not this one.
Yeah.
Shut the F up, man.
But my whole thing is like, what did they do to you personally?
Nothing. But that's the thing. Like, the media.
Like, people are so evil for no reason.
But they don't realize it. They don't think that they're evil. They don't think that they're wrong.
Yeah.
And how can you not see how blatantly selfish and shitty you're being to sit back and just talk crap about somebody for no reason, no fault of their own. You're not mad at them. You just anyway.
Who has 2 kids? Who has and
absolutely.
I think what makes it even more just kind of frustrating for me is I think she's read Michelle Obama's book, and I read Barack's book.
Which one?
His newest book is really I think it's really good. Okay. People will not read it because of him.
Right.
But if you want to gain insight into the thinking, then you'll read the book. But anyway, what is fascinating to me is the whole time she was like, no, I don't know. I do not want to be in Washington. I don't want to be. And she, at one point, she yelled at him and said, when's it going to be enough? I don't want to be the first lady. I don't want to do any of this. And he was just like, got to do this. And she came along for the ride.
Yeah.
And then you get bashed for 8 years.
Yeah.
For something that you really didn't want to do to begin with.
And they're not yelling at her about policies. They're attacking her person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's
just
like,
saying awful things.
It's like, how would you feel if someone was doing that to you? You know, let me go attack your wife or your husband and see how you like it. You want it. You know, do you want me to call you look like a man or whatever else you're saying? Like, it's not.
And she's as far as I can tell, and I don't keep the closest eye on politics because it drives me nuts, but she seemed to handle the whole thing with grace. She didn't she didn't lash out or act an ass.
The epitome
whereas
of grace.
I would have lost my mind.
Yeah.
You know, seeing some of this stuff on Fox News or wherever.
Yeah.
And the fact that people are able to do that to somebody, you know, for no reason. And if it had been somebody on the other side of the political spectrum, you know, you'd have the exact same people defending it. And the example is Melania. Because now Melania's getting a bunch of bullshit that she doesn't deserve.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that when Trump was elected, they said, now here's a first lady with grace and elegance. And I was like, and by they, I just mean people. I just mean people, you know. And then I was like, here's a person, Michelle Obama.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Who came from nothing. If you ever read her story, came from poverty, Harvard, Yale, like was at a law practice, didn't ask to be in politics, just happened to marry a lawyer who decided to get into politics. It's like the American story,
right?
Bringing yourself out of the dirt and into like a law firm and I'm like, I've never seen her dress crazy. I've always seen her dress very nice. And that's the same with like Laura Bush and all the first ladies. Hillary, I can't go back to Hillary, but just those first ladies but they're there because of their husbands.
Right.
And some of them don't want that limelight, but that's who they're married to.
Right.
That's what it comes with.
And that was the same for Melania. I think she didn't even want to move from New York or
dude. I mean, you can see the rage on that woman's face anytime she's in public with Trump.
Yeah.
Who knows how their relationship is? That's none of my business. But like what you see in front of the camera, whenever they're interacting, it's like Trump knows better than to like ask too much from her.
Yeah.
Like he kind of gives her a little bit of a little bit of distance.
Because she's like, I'll set this whole thing off.
Yeah. It's on her face, you know. She's mad.
She looks at times. She looks like, look, I'm not in the mood. You say the wrong thing, I'm just gonna, throw out your dirty.
You never know a person's, what they're thinking or their struggles or whatever.
Right.
You only see surface. That's all we see. And then another thing is, beauty's only skin deep.
Yeah, for sure.
Like people judging based off what you look like, you could be an ugly person inside.
Right. Right.
That shows.
But I don't think we'll ever get a chance to really. Maybe after the presidency, she'll have somebody help her write a book or something.
Yeah,
and we'll get her side of the story. But I mean, she's handled herself with, composure.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for anybody to be mad at her.
Yeah.
So anyway,
have you seen the whole?
Just kind of my one example of what you were talking about.
Have you seen the whole? And then I'll leave it after this. But like with Biden coming in, the whole back and forth about the first lady and the doctor thing.
No.
So,
the only thing I know about the first lady so far is that one time Biden tried to eat her finger in front of the cameras.
Oh, Biden.
Did you not see that?
No, I didn't see that.
She was talking him up, and Biden, for whatever reason, maybe it's like an inside joke they got or something, she had her hand up and he went tried to bite her finger. I don't know. So that's the only thing I know about her.
Can you just imagine kind of like the handlers in the back?
Throwing their clipboard. Hey, Ron.
Let's just go ahead and rewrite the whole finger bite thing now. We're going to have to deal with that for 2 press cycles. But she's a teacher, or she's an educator.
Yeah.
And she has her doctorate.
Mm-hmm. She seems intelligent.
But there's this back and forth of, is it First Lady Joe Biden or is it Dr. Biden? And you would think people are fighting the left and right.
Is this why they're talking about
yeah.
doctors and like the title and all that? Okay, I didn't put that together.
That's
I did see some.
one.
I did see some memes about doctors and their titles or whatever.
Well, I mean, you don't want to fall into the shadow of your husband. If after you accomplish so much,
right?
And now I'm first lady. Yeah, you are first lady, but I'm also a doctor too.
Yeah,
Yeah. So.
I know how hard they work. My mom has her doctorate.
Yeah, you earn that.
Right.
Call me doctor.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Anyway, I'll leave it at that.
No, that's an interesting. I've had that conversation with a friend of mine. The whole doctor title. It's like, doctor does not mean MD. Doctor means you got your doctorate.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh man.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Ooh, buddy. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a whole.
That's a whole other
can of worms.
Yeah.
Top it. But yeah. So
last time we had just Leon. So now we've got you.
Yes.
And we need to hear your side of everything that's been going on with GW District. What's the genesis of the story from your perspective?
So, like the beginning, or just kind of overall?
Yeah, honey, I got an idea. Let's start there.
So, well, the whole thing, came about. Of course, we're going through this pandemic, and it's just been really tough. And then the issues with, the police brutality and the race war. And so we were just trying to see, he was trying to see both of us, and how can we help? How can we make a difference? And he discussed different things we can do, and we always wanted to start a business, but it was just never the right time. But when is the right time? Never.
It's better to just not, if you don't like stress.
Yeah. So we thought, we went over just like with the kids and their sports, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how are we going to have time to do anything?
Right.
We're not going to have any time, but you can't just dismiss your passion because you don't have time. You'll make time.
Yeah, that's right.
No sleep, 1 hour.
2:00 in the morning. Make time.
You'll make time. So he's like, I have this idea. And then he walks off. So a little bit about my husband. He'll give you like snips of it. And then he'll walk off. And he also, I don't like this, but he'll talk, and then I'm like waiting. He's kind of like have you ever watched a soap opera?
Yeah.
And they lead off, and then and you have to wait like a week later to find out what happened, but it does it
maybe
over and
3
over.
episodes.
Yes,
you might have to go 3 episodes.
That's him.
But I'm a Spanish soap opera because I'm super dramatic.
It kills me, so I'm just like, get with it. Tell me. So he does this all the time, but I've come to learn that that's just him thinking out loud.
We're going to team up on you because she's like calling out things that I know about you.
Oh, he knows. Yeah, that's what
I absolutely hate it. So I would just, from now, like, he doesn't know this, but sometimes I'll just walk off.
Leave him to his thoughts.
And then I'll let him, like, if he gathers it all together, then you can tell me what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah.
But
come back in an hour. Yeah.
But I've noticed he has to go through, like, his mind is always going, he always has an idea. And so he told me, hey, I have this idea. And he's like, thinking about it. And I'm like, okay. He's like, it's kind of like, I want to do something like a marketplace, but I want it to be for like our people, a platform. And then he was like, well, kind of like an Amazon type thing. And I was like, babe, that's a really good idea. We should do it, And I'm always up with any of the things he wants to do, just because
very supportive.
Yeah. I'm just like, why not? You only got one life. Why not try
YOLO.
it?
Yeah.
So, and then if you fail, you fail, right? But it's better to have the thought that you tried something and you failed at it rather than not knowing it all.
But y'all are doing so good. and I love the approach that you're taking to this. Be glad that Leon is the way he is, in the regard that, he'll have an idea and he'll start and he'll stop and he'll think and he'll go back and forth over and over again. And he's melting it down until he's got a solid idea, because I am like that, minus all the thinking. I have ideas all the time and I just go with it.
Yeah.
And man, I've
but it's always something good. Like I just want to. It's kind of like he's slowly squeezing the juice and trying to get it all out. But when he gets it out, it's good. So
I think my thought process, and I'm sure there's other people in the world that think like this, is you see like an end result and you see like a starting point and you have your idea. The idea is the end result. And when you stop and you're like, I have this idea, for me, the little sprockets are going and they're like building a bridge backwards to the starting point. We went to the 49ers Dallas game.
Yeah.
That's what she's talking about. I'm like, was that last week or two weeks ago?
Was last.
Oh, it was last Sunday.
Week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all went to a NFL football game during coronavirus last Sunday.
Sure did.
How did that work?
It was tough.
We were all spaced out.
We were super spaced out. Like, when you come in, there's all this.
Well, you got to tell them the backstory.
Well, it was a 49ers Cowboys game. I'm guessing it wasn't hard to space them out, right?
Yeah.
They both suck this year. But, when there is a process to get in there, and there are people watching to make sure you have your mask on. You have to do it, and then you're seated for their contact tracing purposes in pods. So you can't leave your little kind of pod. Group of people. So that's kind of how it was. But I mean, you go across the street to Texas Live and everybody's just partying with their masks off. So it's like, but
I think that even the people that were trying to follow the rules have got to be exhausted from this now, right?
I think so. It's tough, but
I'm over it. I just
listen. I hate wearing a mask, but I do it because, number one, I want to respect other people,
right?
And number two, like, we've talked about this, they asked me to, and people will be like, dude, you give away your rights and freedoms. I'm like, man, join the army, because you give away all your rights and freedoms. If they tell you to wear a mask, you just wear a mask, you know what I mean? And it's not like it's just blindly, you just following somebody, but people, if they've asked us to wear the mask because it would help.
Yeah.
Again, I'm thinking like the helicopter analogy. I'm just thinking about who are the people that can't really fight this with their immunity, or who are the people whose jobs are going to be affected, or the healthcare worker who's slammed in the hospital because I just was going to be an inconsiderate asshole about it.
Right.
So do I like the mask? No, I hate the mask. Do I wear it? Yes, because it was asked of me to wear it.
Yeah. And I'm of the same mentality. I wear it just because it makes other people more comfortable. Yeah. I don't think it does a bit of good.
I don't know.
But
I don't have radar eyes.
I'll wear it. I will tell you this. If I fart and I got my mask on.
And you smell it?
I can smell it.
Yeah. True story.
And I bet them poo particles are way bigger than a coronavirus.
I'm telling you.
What just happened?
But, I mean, I don't know. But the doctors and whoever else have said, wear it. So I'm just going to wear it.
Just in case I'm wrong, I wear it.
Yeah.
I still don't think it does anything.
Now, the vaccine makes me nervous. But,
It just kind of went over that whole 10 years of clinical trial thing, right?
Yeah.
Just skip that over.
If it doesn't make you nervous, I don't know what to tell you.
I think this was your post too. Obviously, I've been stalking you, but it was the Tuskegee experiments. Like,
oh yeah. Harvey posted that. Yeah.
The government saying that black people should be the first ones to take the vaccine.
Yeah.
Whoa.
They said hold up.
But I don't think any group. What I really anticipated was that they were going to do it to the soldiers first. Like, let's do them first.
Because you guys have no choice.
Right.
If we tell you you're going to
do it,
you're going to do it.
Exactly.
So
I imagine.
I feel. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I just feel bad because if you don't want it, then you have to get it, no matter what. But people should have the choice to get it.
Yeah.
If they do.
And I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but that's one of the contributing reasons I got out of the military, because I looked at an influenza vaccine one time, and I asked the guy giving it to me, I was like, hey, can you tell me why there's formaldehyde in this? I found out later that it's a preservative that they use, and it's a fairly common one. They use it for all the vaccines. But he didn't know that. He's the guy putting the shit in my arm, the physician, and he didn't know. And anyway.
Everybody laughs, but I bet your shot record looks like mine. It's just,
for sure.
It's just, it looks like that Fort Worth Roots, display right there. It's just full of stuff. I was joking with my buddies yesterday, and I said, I bet you that Rona just comes into my system and meets that anthrax vaccine. And he's like, what's up, Junior?
You new around here, huh?
You new? Here, let me show you around. But, I mean, because I don't know how many you got, but I think I got like 6 shots for anthrax.
Yeah. I mean, just the deployment shots.
Yeah.
Were the first deployment was shocking because of how many shots they gave us.
It was ridiculous.
They put us in a line like cattle, and you just go down the line and they mark that one off the list, next, and you're going down a line of like 20 nurses, and you got all these guys and gals on the left, all these guys and gals on the right, and the soldiers go right down the middle, and by the time you get done, you just got beat up meat for arms at the end of this little corridor.
That scar.
That's the smallpox. Right?
I got that one too. Yeah, that's the one that people our age really shouldn't have, but
yeah.
But since we're going overseas to these,
so let me get this straight.
places.
You're gonna jab me with infected needles. You want me to let a growth happen?
Let it happen. Don't touch it.
Don't touch that growth.
Don't touch it.
You'll go blind.
You'll die. Your arm will fall off and start voting Republican.
Don't touch it.
You'll never be able to stand juice again.
Here's the thing about that smallpox that just pisses me off. I got it in, I think, 03, 04, somewhere around there. And on our deployment, in 14, I don't know where we were sitting in this room, and they go, has anybody here received the smallpox vaccine between this date and this date? And I was like, oh.
You may be eligible.
So I raised my hand.
Oh.
And they go, so we're doing a study to see the link between a certain...
I remember this.
Remember that? And they were
Yeah.
like, we want to study the link between heart disease and the smallpox vaccine between these years. And
I'm sorry, could you give me more information?
200. We just want to take your blood. There's $200 in it for you and some orange juice. That's what they said. And I walked out of there going, they have no idea what they're giving us. They're just giving us stuff.
Let's try this out, and later we'll offer him $200 and an orange juice.
Yeah.
And he can have a smile and shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and then you get to the VA, and they're like,
not service
that's
connected.
not connected at all.
That'd be cool, though. You can set it up on your mobile thing. You know what you should do?
Oh, boy.
What?
Woman's touch. Here we go.
Well, you know how you guys are talking about, like, your food and deployment. You knew when it was Monday. Like, have different scenes for each day of the week.
I want to do skits.
That'd be cool.
Eventually, whenever I'm just doing this full time, I'd like to like also just do skits. Yeah. Stuff like that would be awesome.
That'd be fun.
And me and you, God, we could do skits all day.
Oh my gosh.
Thought about a few during this whole thing. I'm telling you what, man.
It's great.
But thanks for having us, man.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
y'all for coming out here. I tried to make this kind of central for everybody.
Yeah.
But love the stockyards. I got to walk around
This
down there and
hotel
take
is
some
nice.
pictures.
I mean, barring all the noise, it is really nice. And I like.
We'll be down the street next time. I thought I was getting a room at the one down the street. When I got here, I was shocked.
As much as you didn't like that guy walking in the background, I think it kind of adds ambiance.
Hell yeah.
Because I noticed you looked, and I think he had the Stetson on and boots, right?
I don't know if it was a Stetson.
But I mean, it kind of gives the ambiance of where, and seeing people kind of walk around in the backyard, and behind us, looks pretty good. Yeah, I like it.
I thought this was cool. So we're at the corner of Main and what is that?
26
Stockyard.
Stockyard. Yeah.
Yeah, Stockyard and Main. So.
I know.
Anyway.
I just tried not to look.
All right, guys.
All
Well,
right.
all right, GW District
Yes.
is a marketplace for black-owned businesses, and Amiah and Leon have put together 110 businesses on their directory for you to shop their merchandise. You can find it at shop, you can find it at shopgwdistrict.com.
Yep.
Do we still have the app?
We still have the app. We are currently scheduled to upgrade the app, make it better for people. But you can use www.gwdistrict.com or you can use shopgwdistrict.com. Either one works. I bought both. And then you can find us on Instagram at GWDistrict, all platforms except for Twitter. It's Shop GWDistrict. And also, if you jump on there, make sure you check out our services tab and check out some of our new podcasts that we have on there.
Yes, absolutely.
Some were for professional development, entrepreneurship, fashion, women's empowerment, some things like that. And so we've got, just check it out, browse. That's pretty much it.
Well, I'm proud of you guys. Y'all have done a lot. Y'all have come a long ways in a very short amount of time. It's impressive. You inspire me. And I love you both. Thank y'all for coming on. And I'll hit the button and we can get out of here. You like that outro?
The Roots.
Another big thank you to Leon and Amiah Daniels. Thank y'all for coming back on the show. It's Amiah's first time. It's Leon's second. Really says a lot whenever they choose to come back on the show. Thank you very much. And to my listeners, or the listeners of, you're not my listeners. I don't own you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming back to the show, and thank you for supporting Fort Worth Roots. Here in just a minute, I'm going to put in a recording that this guy sent in. I know him personally, which makes it that much more upsetting. But it's the first voicemail we've gotten from a listener, so it's got to go in there, right? I told him when he sent me this, I said, I can't put this into the episode out of context because people are just going to think I am the biggest a-hole. And I am a bit of an a-hole, but this guy is the guy that I bounce ideas off of. Anytime I try to change something or have a new idea, I call him up and I say, Cody, what do you think? What do you think about this? And this particular day, whenever I left him this voicemail, I was trying to get Fort Worth Roots podcast off the ground. I felt like there was a bit of a time crunch. Maybe there wasn't, maybe there was. It's up to interpretation. At the time, my interpretation was it needed to be solved right now. Cody didn't feel the same way, and that's why he didn't respond to my voicemail. This is one of the voicemails I left him. It's a little tragic, but it's honest. And I told him, I said, look, I'll do it. I'll put it out there. So, with zero regard for my own reputation, I'm going to play this MP3 for you now. Please don't judge me too harshly. And by the way, if you want to send me an MP3 to the show to be played on one of the episodes, I'm not saying I'm going to play it. There's a high probability, especially after you listen to this, you'll see I have very few hang-ups about playing somebody's voicemail sent to the show. So, I just hope yours is better than Cody's. Thank y'all for listening. See you next week.
You sorry sack of shit. I'm over here creating things, like names for podcasts. And I gotta run them by you, because for some reason my silly head thinks that your opinion fucking matters. Good shit. doesn't. But I need to run some things by you so that I can move on to my next thing. I can't go from one tangent to the next until I've solved one tangent. You're really fucking up my morning, Cody Halford. I guess that's what you're good for. What have you ever done that wasn't a fuck-up besides a fence? Oh, wait. Your wife didn't even touch you on the head for that.
Signing off. I really made this too dramatic. Let's start the show. The end of this episode, it's kind of inappropriate and a little bit embarrassing, but we do have our first email, MP3, from somebody that wanted to leave a voicemail. So if you want to check that out, I'd suggest you don't, but it is there. Anyway, enjoy the show. I love you. Bye-bye. And another thing, I had nothing to do with this. Actually, I'm the one that left the voicemail. It's a little weird. I hope you don't listen to the end. Leon and Amiah are man. That's man. Man.